Okay, then, what we have here is we have a refresher for the inclusion exclusion. So if we open up the file that we were looking at last time, how the inclusion exclusion works is that we can, what we have is we have actually three types. We have unknown, included, and excluded for all of the references. So when the papers are like kind of unknown, they're like kind of just marked as that. And then what we have is we have kind of a two-tiered screening process. So like kind of the primary, the primary abstract, and then like kind of the primary paper. So when you're wanting to do a very fast review, you actually go through the abstracts, but then as you're actually drilling more into the actual papers, you then would include it that way. So it's like kind of a very straightforward process. So if we were just to start, we then can kind of go, we want to include that reference, we then want to exclude that one. And what we can see as well is that once we actually make the change, it will actually move down to the next reference. When you're looking at the abstracts, the way the abstracts are already is that like kind of the main section headings like the objective, methods, results, conclusions, those will actually be highlighted. So it allows you really quickly to actually kind of drill into like kind of what are you looking for in your exclusion. What you can as well do is you can go into the project information, and in here though you then can actually choose other types of words that you're wanting to highlight. So if we were to go like mental and cancer, when we then actually basically go back and we change into a reference, we will then kind of see that those words that we chose to highlight are like highlighted as well, so that they will actually stand out. Up here, what we have is we can say either we want to show all papers or we only want to show unknown papers or only included. So if we click on only included, then we then we have like that. If we choose like excluded, then we only have the papers that we excluded. Or else you can basically go only show your unknown. Now the power of synthesis is in fact how you use the search. So if we were to go title and go cancer, then we can like kind of actually pretty much assume that those papers are like related towards cancer. So then what we can do is we can kind of just rapidly kind of go include, include, include. Now, when you're clicking on these things, that's kind of a more labor intensive thing. But what you can do is you can use these hot like keys, and they're either a control I for include or a command I on the Apple. And then for exclude, it would then be control O, or it would be command O. So if we wanted to include all these, we then can kind of actually just hit like kind of we then can like kind of actually just go included, 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 or we can go like kind of out, or yeah, like out. And then what will happen is I will then like kind of actually just like kind of make them kind of excluded. So it's like kind of like that, and then kind of actually just really quickly you then kind of actually just go in and see kind of all your included or your included. And if you click on the stats tab, it will actually show you like how many were actually included or excluded. What you then can do is if you're actually reviewing kind of the full text or your secondary tier, you then can apply the same approach. So I then can go control or command I or O, and then that then will actually mark up the next column, which is kind of the primary paper one. And then The only other kind of main feature is if you head into project settings, what you can do is you can add like kind of, you can add abstract exclude reasons or full text exclude reasons. So if we were to add, we could go exclude and like do exclude hyphen, and we could go PDF not found. Or if we wanted to kind of exclude any foreign languages, we then could go exclude foreign paper. So then if we then actually kind of return to here, what we then can do is we then can kind of see that we have kind of our excluded, and then we can go excluded foreign paper, or we could go exclude PDF paper. So then, and that way we then have kind of a repository of, in fact, kind of like why these papers were actually excluded while we were actually working through them. And yeah, and that's how like kind of the inclusion exclusion works.